Okay, this is a recap of what we covered in class. I'm going to start with a blank screen. And trust me, we're not going to always be doing R, but I just want to make sure you have this 100% before we move on. So the first thing I'm going to do is open up and I'm sending the script to you. This is the sample, R script sample, which has a sampling of a variety of different tools that we've covered, consolidated based on what's going to be needed for the group project and the exam. And then, so you can follow through. It only needs these two packages. Pretty sure that's all you'll need. We're not doing this in Markdown. We'll continue with Markdown later, but I'm asking we'll get R 100%, and then we'll transition back into Markdown. So what we're going to do is we're going to import using either text reader or even the other. I'm going to try this other one. This is the base that I'm not that familiar with, but so I'm bringing in a file called sample.csv, and this appears to be it. Yeah, so I'm going to bring this in, and then here you just have to designate that it is using comma. You can see it actually works well down here. I'm going to click import, and it brought it in. And just to show you, if you were to be using this same method to bring in, you can use either the base or the other one is more of an R, but if we were to bring in the long survey, long_survey, which I don't even have loaded in. So anyways, I'll leave that up to you. Hopefully you have no problem loading it. But whatever the table name that it brings in, it's going to show you here as a sample. As an example, the sample is the data that we're going to work with. You should already have these loaded. You don't need those. And I've broken these up into, you can see the headers are all caps. This is where you load in your data. I'm using sample data so as not to actually do the project for you. But here, this is 3 different groups based on data values. And we're going to create groups based on years of education. So in this, should be able to highlight here. Control Enter, and you can see it looks like nothing happened, but I did get in my sample another group called Max Ed, and then as defined in the script that we covered in class, grade school, high school, and more than high. And then we have a chance to do a quick GGPLOT bar. This will be a bar plot. Hit run. You notice it looks a little different than what I used in class. I added this fill equals max ed, which is what we created here. You don't have to have that, but it adds some nice color that makes the chart jump out a little bit more. And then the labels are already predefined. You would have to make sure that your labels, your title, and your axes match what's in your graph, because again, I'm using a different data set. Then this one, we're going to create another group and segment the bars by the new group that we created. Let me run this real quick. And this was by gender, male and female, and you can see the different groups, grade school, high school, more than high, that we had before. It's the same bars, except here we're using male, female as the breaks. Gives you a little more insight and information. Then this one is we're categorizing into 3 new groups. So this one, you'll see it's not going to create anything, but here we're at 14 variables. Now we're at 15 variables, so it created that whole new column. This is inches tall based on heights. And then this one added another variable. We're at 16. This created house color. Green, blue, yellow, and then all other. And then when this gets, yeah, I'll get to how we pop this into the exam. So here, this is a bar chart for newly created categories. So these are the categories that we created before, which is going to use both, we're going to fill by house color, and it's going to be broken out by inches tall, which was these are two that we created. We created inches tall and we created house color. And you can tell I dropped in some additional visuals. Again, looks pretty good. So this is based on your height, the color of your house. It's really not really relevant, but that's a good technique for how you'll use it in the exam. This one we're creating a histogram with a bin width of 10, and recommending you change the color. This is going to come back in turquoise. Just so that we all don't have the same turquoise graph, you can change your color here. Sorry, where it says turquoise. White is the lines around. You know, you can play with this if you want to do black, which gives you a little more strength in being able to see it. And turquoise, you can pick a color other than turquoise, just so we all don't look exactly the same. Now we're going to create a box plot. I have this horizontal one just for reference. I'm going to recommend we use the vertical one. And the box plot I did, you can see I added fill inches tall, so you'll see some color in the box plot, which is nice, a nice visual. Color is always a great speaking tool. And you know, the key things, I've covered this enough, but all you really have to change is the data set that you're using, and then the column headers that are completing these. So annual income, you'll have a different measure for that. Inches tall, different measure. Then your fill would be ideally what you apply to the Y here to give you this look. And then line chart to show a relationship between the two calculated averages. There's actually two things going on here. We're creating a table. So df underscore summary. And look at that. That one almost got by. Let's see if this works. So this is creating a table using this is a DPLYR function. It's a summarize. So it's creating the average for the inches and the average for the mean. And here's your new little table. It's not very large, but you can see you have, yeah, so it's the average for inches, average for height, and then here we create a line chart using those averages so that you can see the relationship between inches and height. I'm sorry, obviously they're related, but in inches and income. Yeah, with income on the left. And again, you would need to adjust these. I recommend you play around. You can, instead of using the red line's fine, but play around with some different colors. Give it your own. So everything's been created here. And then the next question is, well, how do I get them into my submission? And I'm going to show you here. Yeah, so this was the one I worked on earlier that you should have seen. So here, this is the first one, consider a survey data, and then if I go all the way back to, this would be a bar chart. Yeah, so this was, and it's, again, mine's going to be a little different than yours. Let's see if I copy image, and then right mouse click. Yeah, so a little bit of because mine is shaped the way it is, it's making it a little longer. So what I would probably do is I'm going to use a format like this. So you click copy image, then here right mouse click, paste it like that, and me see where it probably pushed it down. Then as I did mention, we can make it smaller and then also make it so that it goes in front. And then here we just have to make sure we create the space for it. And then, as I mentioned, I want you to come up with an observation that you can drop in here. That right now that's just generic text. So this is, again, my data is different, grade school, high school. Yours was looking for low, middle, high, but I think you understand how that works. The next one, you click the plot. This says use a column chart to represent account for education by gender. This one's actually pretty similar, but don't know for sure if it's going to fit. Copy image, right mouse click. Again, it comes in pretty huge. I'm going to small it down. Try to keep it so it's legible. Also make sure to change it. That makes a big difference. Where'd it go? Here it is. Oh no, where'd it go? Oh. Sometimes you gotta find the graph, find the chart. And drag it down. There you go. And then again, just you can copy and paste, and then update your text so that it supports the insight within the bar. Within the graph. Okay. The next one, so this one doesn't call for, this one you need to insert code. So my recommendation here is that you, this is creating the height groups. Yeah, so it's these two here. So my recommendation is just to do a clip like this, and then you can highlight. This is the first ask, and there's the second. Highlight the two, and that's going to be on a clipboard. That then when you paste it, it will be pasted as an image. And right mouse click. Control V, and that's just showing the code that you used for that piece. Again, you have to do this so you can move it around, but be conscious of the flow beneath. And then this next one, so we're back to the plots. That was the previous one that you see was dropped there. This one is looking for a bar chart to represent individuals and the relationship between individuals, the number of individuals by height, and then your data has ethnicity. Mine is using house color. So, but so within the code, as we explained before, you would need to make that adjustment. So here we're going to paste. It comes in massive. It's good to actually make it really small and then change this to that amount. As I mentioned, we are asking that. Oops. Sorry. I'm going to pause for a second. All right, back up and running. Yeah, so yeah, it's helpful since this one has already been formatted so that it lays over. See if we can bring it down here. I'm going to grab it, move it. And again, that'll be your observations for that individual. The next one is the histogram. Jumping over here. Yours won't be turquoise. And probably not. Probably not white. boxes, but that's up to you. And again, make this sufficiently small so it fits in the space. Got to watch out so you don't want to have to flip upside down. Please, yeah. And then make that so it sits over. There it is. And then this will essentially be the submission. And the last one is the line chart that we created. Oh, I'm sorry, box plots. There's the box plot. Copy the image. And again, I'm going to have office hours. Everybody should be able to do this. If you can't, let's talk. I'm sure we can get. I'm sure you can get there. But then this would be how these would be captured and submitted. And the last one. Last one is, this is the line chart, and I'm not going to keep informing you how to make those changes. I think by now you should know. That's your comment. And then at the very end, code for group assignment 1. And this is going to be horrendously ugly. And you can, so once you have your code completed, Control C, you can highlight everything. You can also click here, click right, and say select all. It'll cover everything. That might be easier. And then here, you paste it. Looks great. What I would recommend, even though this isn't required, this is enough to get the code submitted. There's multiple pages, but what I would recommend is highlight everything that's in the code. You can change the spacing to 1. There is also line spacing options. Yeah, just I would just change the spacing if you need to, and then I think it's all. Yeah, it's going to be long and ugly, but just leave that in. The reason for this is if you've done all the work, you have the code. If you do get the wrong answer and you have the code, we'll go back to the code, and if the code is close, we can give you partial credit, just so that you don't get a 0 for getting the wrong answer when it could have been an error mistake in the code. So this will be your final submission as a group, the document as it's filled out. You don't need to have this. Yeah, and include your group number. So if you're group number 5, you put it there, and then student names listed here. And that is it. Thank you.